You've mastered habits, but what about exploring and expanding your imagination? Fiction might be the missing advantage for you. Yo, what's up? My name is David. This is the Build for Joy podcast. I'm a coach and I help young businessmen and entrepreneurs break cycles of shame and guilt, negative self-talk, and fully chase life and business out of joy. And today I want to give you the killer edge. See, everybody's read Atomic Habits, Enter Game of Tennis, The Artist's Way. These are books that are foundational to the coaching that I do. But one of the things that I think will give you the edge, especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to life, I think is reading more fiction. Got a couple fiction books here. And the reason why I think this is this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Fiction reveals truth that reality obscures. Fiction reveals truth that reality obscures. Here's our big idea for today about reading fiction. Self-help books build systems, but fiction builds imagination, and imagination is a leader's superpower, a business owner's superpower. You see, everybody's reading the same books, right? If you are pitching, right? Think of if you're a businessman and you're wanting to lock down this client, you're wanting to do this big pitch. Everybody's read the same books. Everybody's listened to the same Alex Hormozi podcast. Everybody's in the same world and in the same environment. But what I've noticed is very few men, very few high-level people are actually reading fiction. It's almost like a put down. Oh, I don't read fiction. I only read leadership books. I only read sales books. But can I tell you that everybody's reading these books and you're growing systems? And again, these books are great. I'm reading, right? I just downloaded on my Kindle The Mindful Athlete by George Mumford. We're going to get into some of that in another episode. But everybody's reading these same books. And again, these books are great. There's nothing against them. I'm reading them myself. But I think fiction gives you a superpower. We're going to get into what those three superpowers are. You ready? I hope you're ready to download some books. Number one, fiction enhances empathy. Walking in others' shoes expands your understanding of people and situations. Again, I think you can get a superpower and an edge if you read fiction. Again, for whatever reason, in this coaching world, self-help, high leadership, high capacity people, business people, there's this sort of like downplay on, oh, I don't do that. I don't read fiction. That's downtime. I think it's the opposite. I think being able to get into these situations through a book of fiction allows you to think differently. I think it allows you not only, I think, like I said, number one, to be empathetic to different situations. You're going to read different characters, different stories, different worlds, and all it's doing is world building your world. Fiction enhances empathy. Maybe your empathy is at a 180p. Fiction is going to make it 4K. And so walking in other people's shoes expands your understanding. Not only does it expand your understanding, number two, it breaks linear thinking. Stories teach us to think outside of the box. Again, you're in a room. Think that there's four other businessmen that went to the same school you did, are reading the same books you're reading. What is the edge there? And if you can learn to break linear thinking, it's going to help you think outside of the box. I think it's a given that reading good stories will make you a better storyteller. And I think that'll help your business. I think that'll help your life. But thinking outside the box is huge. Everybody thinks the same way. And the people that are willing to take risks, the people that are willing to think outside of the box are those that are not thinking in a linear fashion. Those that are thinking differently. And the way you do that is by teaching yourself to think outside the box. And fiction is a great way for you to do that. Fiction is a great way for you to mentally put yourself in a situation where you have to think outside the box because you're reading someone else's story, not just your own. And so reading someone else's story expands your own story. It allows you to think differently, to think outside the box. And if everybody's reading the same books, this puts you at an advantage. One of the big things that we talk about here is that we're not competing with other people, we're creating. You want to create better? Think better. You want to have better ideas? Read better books. And I think you could have a superpower and an advantage if you read fiction books. Number 3, it invites play. A creative mind is more flexible and innovative. A creative mind is more flexible and innovative. And so, I don't know why. Again, these top, level businessmen, these leaders, these coaches, they downplay fiction, but all this is doing is inviting play. It's expanding your world. It's giving you an opportunity to get placed in a different world outside yourself. Now, there is different kinds of fiction. Learn what that fiction is. One of my favorite authors, Cormac McCarthy. This isn't reading sci-fi. I'm not a big sci-fi guy. I have friends that are. But all it's doing, it's creating flexibility and imagination and innovation that gets what happens in your business and in your life. You create more flexibility, more imagination, and more innovation. And a lot of the self-help books, what it do is they just create competition in yourself. And if everybody's reading in the same books, going to the same schools, they're having the same thing, this can be a crazy edge for you. So I want to challenge you to read more fiction. Get into some better stories. This year, read 3 or 4 new fiction books. I want to share with you. I have them here. 4 of my favorites. Stoner by John Williams. Great book. Cormac McCarthy, No Country for Old Men. Great movie. Fight Club. Come on. Classic. And then Requiem for a Dream. These 3 are great movies. They're some of my favorite movies. These have been books that have expanded my life, my thinking. I'm a guy that naturally takes risk, and so reading some of the nonfiction books has been helpful for me. But you gotta read more fiction. Here's a question, listener hesitation you might be having, but can fiction really help my business? Yes, because innovation starts in the mind. I truly believe that the more we play, the more we imagine, the more we are creative, the better ideas we can come up with. And fiction is an easy way to level up your imagination. Fiction is an easy way to think outside your world and outside your box and be placed in other worlds and other boxes to grow and expand your thinking, your imagination, your play. You got to do it. It'll change your life, I believe. This has been David with the Built for Joy podcast, where we're building out the Joy program. If you listen this far, please like, subscribe, and comment. Follow me on Instagram, Dave Gomez TX, the Joy Coach. And let me know, what are your favorite fiction books in the comments below? What do you think? Have you only read self-help books? What is one fiction book you can read this year if you're new to fiction? What if we started a fiction book club? I don't know. Let me know. Again, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but fiction is so downplayed for men, for dudes. And I'm here to say, read more fiction. Read all of it, honestly. But let's get into some more fiction in 2026. See you guys later. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And let's get it this year.